Tonight, either we are approaching the night of Eid al-Fitr, or it is the last night of Ramadan. Whichever be the case, inshallah, it is Mubarak for all of you. And may Allah give us long life to meet again, inshallah, in the next Ramadan. Tonight, I thought that while we were closing, perhaps this will be definitely the last session in the month of Ramadan, tomorrow, if there is no Eid tomorrow morning, inshallah. Then of course, in any case, tomorrow night is Laylatul Eid, so there will be nothing but coming here for a'mal of Eid, perhaps. But in any case, since London has a record of never having had 30 fasts, the people have been trying to get the moon since yesterday. Let us see what the result is. Whatever is Amrullah Ta'ala, it will be followed. Tonight I thought that while discussing so many things which we have already discussed in fiqh, one very important aspect of fiqh has remained. And that is the laws of business. And in brief, I would like to touch for about 15 minutes on this particular line, that in Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded us to see that our sources of income are always halal. That is the main thing. The source of income for our rizq and our sustenance must be that which is legitimate and halal in the eyes of Sharia. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that the best way of earning one's living, the best of all that can be envisaged and can be thought of, the best one is farming. Farming, to have your own land and yourself to till it. Farming, a farmer is on the top among the earners, mainly because there is a least possibility of haram entering into it. There is a possibility, I don't say it is totally devoid of haram, but there is a least possibility of haram entering into it. There is total tawakkul and reliance upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He takes the seeds, He knows the seasons, He knows when to till, when to plow and when to harvest, which seed for which season, and how many times in a year, and all that. As long as he remains within the boundaries of his own land and does not usurp or make ghasb the land of his neighbor, or does not plant and sow those things which are haram to eat purposely. For example, if there is a particular thing which he is sowing at that time with the niyat that this is to be brewed as liquor later on and to be sold off, then of course it becomes haram. But if there is something which is used both purposes, for example, it can be used for halal and also haram. I am sowing it for halal, like dates and grapes. You can have your vineyard and you can have your grapes grown in your own garden. So there is a least possible, and there is a total tawakkul. He has done, he is expecting the rain. He has sown and he is now expecting good sunlight. All that is tawakkul ala Allah, Allah reliance upon him. That is one thing. Second thing, because it is an agency of provision between Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His creation. If there are farmers, then we'll have food. If there are no farmers, they will have no food. So when there is a farmer, then there is an agent who is between Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and creation, provides, or he sells. The government buys, whoever buys, but there must be someone who will harvest and till. That is why the Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that when you take a bread, and you want to eat bread, or you take anything that you are eating, for a while just ponder, where has it come from? That bread has come from baker, a baker has baked it, but what is it baked of? Wheat or whatever, from where did it come? You will find, the Prophet said, that at least 100 hands have worked in different circumstances to provide you one morsel of food. Someone has harvested, from there the seeds were taken, someone sold it, someone ground it. I mean, hundreds of hands have gone through, till at last you get what you call one piece of bread or rice that we eat. It hasn't come from the kitchen of Stanmore alone. It has come all the way from the first source, and the provider is He who allowed the ground and the earth and the soil to accept the seed and then allow it to germinate and develop. Otherwise, any seed put into this ground or earth could have gone and been destroyed forever. But we are sure that which goes in will inshallah grow, and it grows. And Allah in Quran says, it is my mercy that you put one seed and back I give you into hundreds. Right? So he is the best earner. The second best earner is a businessman, a tajir. The question is that a tajir can be defined as one who is trying to earn his living without falling parasite upon the other, or without selling off his own fortune and destiny into the hands of other by doing clerical jobs. For Allah is a provider to all of us. A tajir, a businessman, however small, is better than one who is doing employment. But then Mawla used to say in Kufa, going into the business markets, and used to say, "Oh people, learn the laws of Allah about business before you start a business, otherwise there is every possibility that you might enter into something which is makruh or even haram." Therefore, let us take only a cursory view of what he said. I enter into your shop, I want to buy something, you sold it over to me, whatever has been agreed upon, you put a label there or you quoted me, 5 pounds, 2 pounds, whatever. I paid you, this is called mu'atat, the act of exchange, hands have exchanged. This is enough. Otherwise, there is also a sigha for sale and buying, just like in nikah, ankahtu and qabiltu. But there is no need, if a shopkeeper were to read every time, bi'tu wa qabiltu, poor fellow will do no business. So this is called mu'atat, means the exchange of hands is enough. I came, I saw the price, I wanted a thing, you gave it to me and I bought. Mu'atat is enough, and therefore whatever we do in shop is quite legal and according to Sharia is acceptable. But Islam says, if someone bought something from you, and if he returned and said, I do not need it now, it is mustahab to return and pay him back whatever price he paid without deduction and take the thing back, provided that he has not spoiled it or not used it so extensively that it has become damaged, or it can be said to be second hand. He took something, came back second hour and said, please, I don't need it now. It is mustahab. You can refuse because the transaction is concluded. But you may say, yes, I'll take back the commodity, give back the money. But if there is a child, nabaligh, who came to buy something, even if he were sent by baligh parents, if he buys something in Islam, that transaction is not a valid transaction. It is not haram. It is not valid. That means if he comes back and says, my father says, take it back, it is compulsory to take it back because the transaction from the very instant was not valid. Sell everything, except don't sell that which is haram to sell. What are the haram things to sell? To sell liquor, to sell every najisul ayn is haram except to one excrements, paykhana, which is being sold for fertilizer because it has got a halal use, fertilizer. Whether it is animal excrement or human, that is halal to sell for that particular purpose as a fertilizer or what is called compost. And second thing to sell is blood for giving to blood bank or whatever. If somebody wants to sell his blood, he can. As for other things, it is not jais, or for any other purpose, anything haram is not jais to sell. It is not jais to sell musical instruments. And Agha Khui has written that even those small instruments which are sold for children to play with, even that ahwat-e wujubi is precautionary, not allowed to sell. And all those things which are used in gambling, including the cards, Satya piece, or whatever you call it, is haram to sell. And it is therefore, I say to our mu'mineen, please do open a shop, but in your shop, do not keep these things and have some faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that inshallah your shop will not suffer. Do not sell pork. Do not sell ham. Have some faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and make a suitable halal replacement there, and inshallah you will sell and you will have your best of luck. The Jewish community also does not handle pork. For them also pork is haram. And no one can tell me that the Jewish community has suffered in this country. On the contrary, we know it for certain that whatever they have found out to their own advantage. It is only the Muslims who themselves have been ashamed of asserting themselves that this is haram, we will not do it. So the Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that as far as liquor is concerned, as far as intoxicant is concerned, as far as these drinks are concerned, which are haram to drink, the one who sows the seeds, the one who grows it, the one who harvests it, the one who brews it, the one who bottles it or whatever, the one who keeps it in shop to sell it, the one who gives others to drink, the one who gives transportation, the one who keeps account, the one who walks to serve, the one who serves at a particular gathering, all of them are mal'oon, mal'oon, mal'oon. Upon them is la'nat in this world and hereinafter. Therefore don't follow the psychology or the philosophy of many others who say, "Ame to pita te pura vinci." That is not right. Or many people say, "Kafir ne pura hone, kafir ne tamara baap nu kaam nathi pura." It's not your job. The kafir ne pura. So this is only an excuse to find out that how to earn money even from selling drinks. So every stage the Prophet has made la'nat upon this. If you count, it is more than 9 stages where the Prophet said, all those involved, directly or indirectly, are all mal'oon. So this is haram. Now, the question is that when a particular thing comes packed, in its origin it is not najisul ayn. In its origin it is not najisul ayn. It is something packed. Potato chips, crisps, cakes, butter, ghee. These things are not najisul ayn. This is a pak in origin. It has come packed. There you don't have to ask as to who has manufactured this. It has come packed, and at the shop you sell it, you buy it, and there's no problem. The problem arises when you start asking. It was not at all wajib, nor was it prudent to issue a list of things for people at the house to say, you can use this and you cannot use that. There is not at all any responsibility. But people did it. After having done it, people started asking questions. It wasn't incumbent upon any one of us to find out what is perhaps a toothpaste made up of. No. Or what is the ingredient of soap. No. But when we started asking, and we found out so many things, life became more problematic and difficult. So, unless it is mentioned on the ingredient that there is najisul ayn which has been used, only then you don't buy, otherwise you buy and there is no problem. And this is what must be understood, that when najisul ayn, they themselves declare that they have used najisul ayn in this, then of course it becomes najis for us to buy. It is for this reason, animal fat, if it is written, we don't buy this, because we do not know in this country, and we are sure that the number of dhabiha in this country is far, far less than the number of ghair dhabiha in this country. So we should not do this. And never believe that if you don't keep this in our shop, we will not be able to thrive. That is not correct. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is huwa razzaqu dhul quwwatil mateen. He is the provider and sustainer. And if we think that only haram can sustain us, we are mistaken. And remember one thing, the family which has been maintained on haram may be thrifty, may even become affluent for some time, have abundance, but does not have that barakah. Barakah means for wealth, for rizq to come and stay and even go into generations after generation without any worries. That comes with halal, even small and little, but it comes for sustenance and it remains. I don't want to discuss what happens with haram. We have seen with our own eyes, there is no need for us to go into details, but haram has no barakah whatsoever. Although it may come as a windfall of cash, it may come as in abundance, it has no barakah. In the wake of haram, there is a lot of thing which is manhus, which comes, removes the barakah, and then people can't understand. With all the money in the safe, with all the gold at your disposal, you can't have one night of happiness. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala may save this community from the haram earning. Now, finally, there is the professionals. After the tajir comes professionals. But before I take professionals, even the clericals, I have told them that they cannot go and get employed at any place where liquor is being sold. Even for accountants, or for transportation, or whatever. That is haram. And where a direct dealing is made of in interest, that means a person is a money lender, and he lends money, collects money or interest and all that there to work as an accountant for an department of interest is also haram and najais, be it a bank or be it even a personal or private money lender. Well, so for employers also they must think, employees must also think, and for the professionals there is a very simple rule that a professional, if he is doing his profession for the sake and niyyah of earning his means by halal, then that is halal. If he is doing it for the sake of haram, then it is haram. Now, a solicitor or a lawyer will decide between himself and his Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Is he doing to help, or is he doing to prove right wrong and wrong right? Whatever he does, his responsibility at every stage is between him and his Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A solicitor has got to be very careful as to what he does in his profession. This is clear. I'm sorry if somebody feels bad about it, but this is very clear. Among the things which is haram is also for a person to go to the auction and bidding just for the sake of price going high. He doesn't want to buy, but the auctioneer will give him a paisa for just enhancing the price. You see, that he is told what is the reserve price, and the auctioneer tells him, all right, you go on bidding so that nobody gets lower price. He bids. He doesn't want to buy, now nor will he buy, but he's just bidding so that the price may go shoot high. That earning and that business, that profession of bidding for the sake of hiking the price high in the auction is haram, and the earning that is received is also haram. So, finally, today when we read the dua, the final portion has remained unexplained, but I would like to say only one thing about that dua, because it was from Hazrat Hujjat Salamullah alayh. He says, "Oh Allah, when he comes," that means now we are referring to Imam Zaman alayhi salam coming. When he comes, Allahumma ma araftana min al-haqqi fahammilna wa ma qasurna anhu faballighna. Ya Allah, whatever we have so far been able to understand about truth, let us be able to adopt it, accept it, and practice it. And whatever we have not been able to understand, Ya Allah, teach us so that we may understand. But then, Allahumma al-mum bihi sha'fana, wash'ab bihi sad'ana, wartuq bihi fatqana. When Imam Zamana alayhi salam comes, Ya Allah, with his advent, seal our differences and collect all our factions and parties into one. Allahumma al-mum bihi sha'fana, wash'ab bihi sad'ana. That means when he comes, his coming should be a reason for our further unity, and all our differences may sink and we become one. وَكَثِّرْ بِهِ قِلَّتَنَا. And we are little in number, small in number, we may be more when he comes. The first thing that when Imam Zaman alayhi salam comes, with his barakah is to see that the ummah is united. And his followers are all one word. And that is going to be a divine gift from him when he comes. And Ayatollah Khomeini in his book wrote that this means that when we prepare for him to come, we should start sinking our differences before we expect him to come. All our differences, so that we become one. Rather than promoting differences, we should try to discourage differences and see that we are one. When Imam alayhi salam comes, insha'Allah ta'ala, we meet him as one people. This is one of the great things that we expect when Imam alayhi salam comes. Unfortunately, people don't know that there are more than 100 ayats in Quran which speak about Imam alayhi salam's advent before Qiyamah. The people are asking, where is the idea of Hazrat Mahdi Salamullah alayhi salam coming? As if ulama have not worked upon it, and we are being told today that this was a political development, astaghfirullah rabbi wa atubu ilayh, because Shias were all the time suppressed, subjugated, therefore they thought of one redeemer and they brought the idea of Imam. It was not like that. And out of all the ahadith which have been reported, Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah have repeatedly reported that the Prophet said, before the day of judgment comes, there will come from my descendants a person whose name will be my name and whose kunya will be my kunya. His name will be Muhammad, his kunya will be Abul Qasim. He will be from the sons of Fatima, and he shall come even if there is only one day left for the day of judgment. This is what he said. يَمْلَأُ الْأَرْضَ قِسْطًا وَعَدْلًا كَمَا مُلِئَتْ ظُلْمًا وَجَوْرًا. He will fill this earth with justice and peace, the way it would have been filled before that, with all the torture and tyranny. All have written. Now where is the question of political development here? Yes, politicians used it. Every time Sudan used it, for example, Muhammad Ali, the grandfather of Sadiq Mahdi, used it. He used it. Ghulam Ahmad of Qadian used it. Many impostors used it. But because people used this hadith for their own ends, it does not mean that the hadith itself was not there. They used it whenever they found that they could not get the upper hand. They used it to say, I am the Mahdi who has come. Muhammad Ali said, I am Mahdi in Sudan. Ghulam Ahmad said, I am Mahdi in Sudan. But people have been saying so many things. Ghulam Ahmad, for example, first said he was just Bab, just like a Bab. Then he said he was Mahdi. Then he found that this was not very convenient. He became a prophet. From the prophet, many people do not read. He became wife of God. It only remained one step to become the husband. So people do say anything. It does not mean, therefore, that hadith is not there. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Quran says, وَعَدَ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مِنْكُمْ وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ لَيَسْتَخْلِفَنَّهُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ كَمَا اسْتَخْلَفَ الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ وَلَيُمَكِّنَنَّ لَهُمْ دِينَهُمُ الَّذِي ارْتَضَىٰ لَهُمْ وَلَيُبَدِّلَنَّهُمْ مِنْ بَعْدِ خَوْفِهِمْ أَمْنًا يَعْبُدُونَنِي لَا يُشْرِكُونَ بِي شَيْئًا. Surah Nur. God has promised people who are faithful and who do good that they shall be the inheritors of this earth, inheritors of the rule on earth, the way people before them have been given. And they will have all the power to wield through their religion, which Allah has chosen for them, that is Islam. And they will have total peace on earth after all the fear that they have suffered. When has that come? Since the day of the Prophet till today. Has there been total domination of Islam? Has there been no fear? That is why all the ulama and even Ahlul Sunnah, and the most beautiful part is As-Sawa'iqul Muhriqa, which was written against the Shias, himself writes that this ayah came to tell us that there will come a Mahdi before the day of Qiyamah. When he comes, there will be a law of order, and the Muslims will have Islam reinstated fully. And we will have no fear anymore. It will be peace and peace. And there are so many other ayats. Allah says on the day of judgment, all of us will be resurrected together. We will come there together in multitude, not one or two. But there are so many ayats in which Allah says, you will come alone. Now there cannot be two different versions. There are certain people who will rise before the day of judgment, at the advent and coming of Hazrat Hujjat Salamullah alayh. Those are the people who will come alone. And when Qiyamah will come, all of us will come into multitude. We will come there the way that we will not even recognize each other. The husband will be running away from the wife. The sons will be running away from the parents. The parents will be running away from the children, so that nobody may have a claim upon anyone. The friends will be estranged from the friends. There will be no connection on that day. يَوْمَ لَا أَنْصَابَ بَيْنَهُمْ. No relationship on the day of Qiyamah. But before that, some of us will come as individuals. And Quran says this. And therefore, the hadith points out that there are two occasions. One is when Imam will come. The other is when the day of judgment will come. رَبَّنَا أَمَتَّنَا اثْنَتَيْنِ وَأَحْيَيْتَنَا اثْنَتَيْنِ. Oh Allah, you gave us death twice and gave us life twice. When was that? This is when those will come at the time of Raj'ah, when Imam al-Zaman alayhi salam will come. They will say this, that you gave us death twice and then you gave us life twice. And so many ahadith and Qur'an's verses are there. We are waiting for him who exists. And tonight he is the witness to whatever efforts we have made so far. And tomorrow on the Eid day, he will be the witness that when we rejoice, if it is Eid tomorrow or day after, and that particular day, he is our witness. And all our life, he is our witness. And if Eid falls on Friday, it is possible, then he is a witness every Friday for all our a'mal. When the malaika go to him and say, these are your friends, and this is amal. And when he sees our shortcomings and our sins, he prays for us and says, Ya Allah, they have sinned, forgive them. But when he sees good deeds, he prays for us and says, Ya Allah, they are doing whatever I should have been there to do. They are helping me for propagation of faith. Give them the barakah and give them the best of your blessings. This is what is the meaning of Mahr Ramadan's ending. This is the reason why Imam al-Zamana taught this dua. And he told his fourth naib, read it every night in the month of Ramadan. So that the Shia who will be blessed with reading this may again and again ruminate over this. The last paragraph is, Allahumma inna nashku ilayka faqda nabiyyina salawatuka alayhi wa alihi wa ghaybata imamina. Oh Allah, we lament, we complain that there is no prophet among us. The prophet is, we have taken him away. But we also lament the absence of Imam al-Zaman. He is not here. So what has happened? وَكَثْرَةَ عَدُوِّنَا وَقِلَّةَ عَدَدِنَا وَشِدَّةَ الْفِتَنِ بِنَا وَتَظَاهُرَ الزَّمَانِ عَلَيْنَا. Because the Prophet is not here. And Imam alayhi salam you have taken away in concealment. Ya Allah, our enemies are manifold. Our number is less. People are demonstrating against us. Imam gave an inkling. Imam gave an information as the time draws near and near. Oh my Shia brothers, you will be less in number. You will have enemies trying to kill you, trying to imprison you everywhere, trying to suffocate and strangle you. But you will say, فَعِنَّا عَلَى ذَلِكَ بِفَتْحٍ مِّنْكَ تُعَجِّلُهُ. Ya Allah, help us with an opening as soon as possible, and send your own king, Imam al-Zaman alayhi salam, to come and redeem us. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.